Okay, today we're going to just do a quick review of coordinate graphing. So coordinate points are written as coordinate pairs, and those pairs should look in parentheses. You should have your x value, your x coordinate, then your y coordinate. We often call using the alphabet because x comes before y in the alphabet, or think about x is about how we move horizontally and then vertically. So H is before V in the alphabet, but that's how we look at a coordinate point. They're written as a pair. One is an X value, one is a Y value. So when plotting the X coordinate indicates how many spaces to move right or left, right? So if it's a right move, it's usually because it's a positive number. And if it's left, that's because it's typically a negative number. When plotting the y coordinate indicates how many spaces to move up if it's a positive number, or down if it is a negative number. Okay, so right, left for the x coordinate, up, down for the y coordinate. So this is what a coordinate graph looks like. We have two axes. We have an x-axis and a y-axis. So in this quadrant, which we call quadrant number 1, all x values are positive, and all y values are positive. And again, we said this was, make this a little bit bigger. So I'll put it up at the top. This is quadrant 1. Then we move counterclockwise when we're naming the quadrants. So this is quadrant, can't spell today, quadrant 2. Name them with Roman numerals. And all x values are negative, and all y values are positive. All right, which, think about it, for in this quadrant, that means if this is our origin, which is the beginning of everything, 0, 0, if we're moving to the left, we know left is negative, and then if we're moving up, we know up is positive. So this must be quadrant 3, where all x values are negative and all y values are negative. And lastly, quadrant 4, I spelled quadrant here, quadrant 4, all x values are positive and all y values are negative. So then the one thing that we didn't name here, like we said, y-axis, x-axis, this point right here in the middle is called the origin, and it's because it's 0, 0, and pretty much origin means where's the beginning of something. Moving on to slide 12. Okay, it says, the coordinate plane has 4 quadrants, 2 axes, and 1 origin. Identify which point is at each location. So using the notes that we just took on the previous page, we can say that point blank is in quadrant 1. So this is quadrant 1, and we would say A is in quadrant 1. Now remember, to be in quadrant 1, your value for x and y both have to be positive. You might say, well, B kind of looks like it's in quadrant 1, but it's not. And that's because it's not in a quadrant, it's on an axis, okay? And when you're on an axis, in this case, yes, we moved over 3, but we didn't go up at all. So this point would have 3, 0. So one of the coordinate points would be 0, which is neither positive or negative. So we would, in our box here, we would put point A is in quadrant 1. Point E is in quadrant 2. Point D is in quadrant 3. And point C is in quadrant 4. Point B is on the x-axis. Now you might say, well, G looks like it's on the x-axis, but remember, it's at a special point on the x-axis. It's actually, we're going to get to that in a minute. So if B is on point on the x-axis, F is on the y-axis. And lastly, that special point is G, and that is on the origin because it's 0, 0, which means it's both on the x and y-axis because it's where they intersect at. So those are just the reminders about coordinate graphing. You have a assignment to do 2 GPs. One is plot the following points on the graph below. So you're given these points and you need to plot them on the graph below, losing these dots. And once you place them, click inside the dot and write which letter of the point you're representing. On 14, you're going to go back to the graph that we just had, and you're going to write the coordinate pair for each one of these points on the graph. So you're going to have to put them in coordinate pair form, which is with parentheses and a comma in between. And that's your assignment or review of coordinate graphing.